Ghost Story, true creepy horror stories. West Virginia had plenty of ghost stories, but none as chilling as the one about Black Hollow, an abandoned town deep in the mountains. People whispered about the church that still stood at its center, untouched by time, where visitors heard voices that weren't their own. Marcus didn't believe in ghosts. Lily did. Ben stayed neutral, while Rachel craved the thrill of the unknown. The four of them had spent years chasing urban legends, but Black Hollow felt different. Hardly anyone talked about it. There were no viral videos, no ghost hunting shows covering it, just the occasional warning from locals who refused to say more. The drive took hours, winding through roads swallowed by the forest, no phone signal, no signs of life. By the time they reached the edge of town, the sun was sinking, casting long shadows over the crumbling buildings. It looked like everyone had left in a hurry. Rusted cars sat abandoned, their doors hanging open. Storefronts were empty, but some still had merchandise inside, coated in decades of dust. A tricycle stood in the middle of the street, its red paint eerily fresh. Lily shivered. It feels wrong. Marcus smirked. That's the point. Rachel was already snapping pictures, her flashlight cutting through the gloom. Ben knelt by an old newspaper, the date barely visible. October 13th, 1971. Beneath it, a faded message scrawled on the sidewalk. Don't stay after dark. A gust of wind howled through the buildings, rattling loose shutters. Marcus laughed. Creepy atmosphere? Check. Lily shot him a look. You hear that? Silence. Ben stood, brushing dirt off his hands. Let's just find the church and get this over with. The church was impossible to miss. Its steeple loomed over the town, its dark silhouette framed by the dying light. The heavy wooden doors were slightly open, as if inviting them in. Inside, the air was thick and stale. Rows of pews gathered dust, untouched for years. At the altar, a single candle burned. Rachel whispered, "Who lit that?" No one answered. Then the doors slammed shut behind them. The echo of the slamming doors sent a shiver through the church. Dust swirled in the flickering candlelight. Marcus turned, gripping the handle, but the doors wouldn't budge. Ben ran his fingers along the wood. No locks, no visible mechanism. Just solid, unmoving weight. Rachel aimed her flashlight toward the altar. The candle hadn't burned down at all. Its wax was untouched, its flame unnaturally still. Lily exhaled slowly. The air felt heavier, pressing against her chest. She took a step forward, then stopped. Footsteps, not theirs. Soft, deliberate, somewhere ahead. Ben tensed. Rachel raised her camera. The lens focused, then glitched, flickering between frames. A shadow moved beyond the pews. Marcus shook his head. It's just the wind. Lily's voice barely rose above a whisper. There is no wind. The candlelight dimmed. A deep creak echoed from the rafters, like old wood shifting under unseen weight. Dust trickled down in thin streams. Something moved above them. Rachel lifted her camera. The screen flickered again, struggling to process the darkness. Then it froze. A frame remained on the screen. A figure, not one of them. A tall shape stood in the aisle, featureless but solid. The moment Rachel blinked, it was gone. The camera shut off on its own. Marcus exhaled sharply. Okay, let's go. He yanked at the door again. It held firm. His pulse quickened. Ben turned back toward the pews. The air carried a low hum, almost like a voice beneath the surface of silence. Words half-formed, layered, slipping in and out of recognition. Then the hum stopped. A single whisper broke the stillness, right beside them. Stay. The whisper sank into the silence, dissolving before any of them could react. Rachel clutched her camera. It refused to turn back on. The screen remained black, its battery fully charged, but useless. Ben turned toward the pews again. They stretched in endless rows, deeper than they should have been. Shadows pooled between them, shifting when no one moved. The candle still burned, its flame frozen in place. Marcus clenched his jaw. He wasn't afraid of old buildings or dark corners, but something about this place felt wrong in a way he couldn't name. He ran his fingers along the doorframe again, searching for a mechanism. Lily stepped back, her breath unsteady. This isn't normal. Marcus gave up on the door and turned toward the others. Then we break a window. Ben pointed toward the nearest one. Stained glass, dull with age, depicting something faded beyond recognition. Rachel aimed her flashlight at it. The glass should have reflected light, but it absorbed it instead. She frowned. That's not. A low creak interrupted her. The pews shifted, not all at once, just a few inches, just enough to be noticeable. Ben took a step back. Marcus clenched his fists. Someone's messing with us. Rachel swallowed hard. Who? The answer came in the form of a slow, deliberate knock. 3 times, not from the doors, from beneath the floor. No one moved. The knock repeated. 3 beats, hollow and steady. The wood under their feet trembled slightly, as if something stirred below. Lily's breath hitched. We need to go. Marcus grabbed one of the wooden chairs near the altar and swung it toward the window. The impact should have shattered the glass. Instead, the chair splintered on contact. Rachel backed away. That's not possible. The candlelight flickered. The air thickened, pressing against their skin, filling their lungs with something dense and bitter. Then the whisper came again, closer this time. Stay. The whisper barely faded before another sound followed. A slow, dragging noise, heavy and uneven, moving beneath the floor. Rachel gripped her flashlight tighter. The beam flickered as if something interfered with it. She aimed it at the altar, but the darkness there felt thicker, almost tangible. Marcus backed away from the shattered chair. The stained glass window remained unbroken, its dull colors absorbing all light. He turned toward Ben, but Ben wasn't looking at the window anymore. His gaze was fixed on the floor. Lily followed his stare. The wooden planks shifted subtly at first, then more violently. Something pressed against them from below, straining the old boards. The dragging sound stopped. Silence stretched, deep and suffocating. Then a single board near the altar cracked. A splintered gap formed, revealing nothing but blackness beneath. Ben swallowed hard. We're leaving. Marcus turned back to the doors. He braced himself and pulled with all his strength. The wood groaned but didn't give. Rachel turned, searching for another way out. The pews seemed to have moved again, their arrangement subtly wrong. The aisle was narrower than before. Lily's breath came shallow. The floor. Another crack echoed through the church. More boards split apart, jagged edges curling upward. A deep cold seeped through the widening gaps, unnatural and bitter. Then a hand emerged. Not human. Pale, elongated fingers, joints bending wrong, pressing against the floor. Another hand followed. Rachel stumbled back. The flashlight flickered again, struggling against the darkness. The figure pulled itself up, slow and deliberate. A head surfaced, its features obscured by shadow, but its eyes, empty, deep voids locked onto them. A whisper, soft but insistent, filled the air. Stay. The thing pulled itself higher, limbs stretching unnaturally as it crawled through the broken floor. Its hollow eyes fixed on them, unblinking. The whisper came again, layered now, as if more than one voice spoke at once. Stay. Marcus grabbed Rachel's wrist and yanked her toward the door. Ben and Lily followed. The wooden planks groaned beneath them, the gaps widening. More hands emerged, grasping, reaching. The candlelight dimmed. Shadows stretched across the walls, twisting into figures that moved without sound. The air thickened, pressing against their skin like unseen hands. Ben slammed his shoulder against the doors. The impact sent a deep vibration through the wood. Rachel gritted her teeth and joined him. A crack. The doors burst open. Cold night air rushed in as they stumbled outside. The silence of the town swallowed them whole. No wind, no crickets, just the weight of something unseen, lingering. They ran, past the crumbling buildings, past the empty streets. The church stood behind them, its open doors yawning like a mouth. The candle inside still burned, untouched. At the car, Rachel turned back. The stained glass window no longer held a faded image. It held them. 4 figures, frozen in colored glass, their faces distorted in silent screams. The whisper followed them as the engine roared to life. Stay.